This is Marie Mandolin, and this is a little setup I have here of cherries. They're very dark. It'll be difficult to get that color. And I started here on the pad to do the sketch. And I have colored pencils. They're a soft sort of, they're not oily. They're not like pastels either, but they're nice and soft. They give a nice feel. And I have started to do one of the cherries by making rounds, and this is a heavy watercolor paper. It's not smooth. So I just want to make sort of a drawing of my subject here. Now the light's coming in from there, and of course we have the, I should really be from that direction because of where the shadows are falling here. But I have my paper divided into 3/4. Here would be the line for the table, and the fruit is sitting on the table. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dark area where the stems come out of the fruit. Now this is, and bring it in there. Okay. Now, that is very light, so we want to get a dark purple, which I don't have, so I'm going to have to try the blue and see what happens on the dark shady side. It's very difficult to get that color that the fruit is, a very dark reddish brown. If you don't have the proper number of pencils, you have to try to override it with another color, and that is what I'm doing to get the darker color. And this is what they call burnishing, is that you're rubbing your pencil really hard and you're getting the colors into those areas where there's the indentation in the fruit, or I'm sorry, the phone just rang and I got this interrupted, and now my thoughts are interrupted. The cherries. Okay, now we're going to go, this is not really the color I want, so I'm going to take a dark brown and try to do more burnishing and see what I'm going to get. A dark brown, and looks like I'm getting the color I want. But you're going to see some blue through it, and I'm going to continue with the dark brown underneath rather than the blue and try the purple on top and see what happens. Now, yeah, I'm getting it pretty good, but you're still seeing that blue, which I really don't want. So I'm going to go over it again with the purple, and here. That's sort of a tricky thing to do when you're painting top with pencils on one side dark and the other side lighter. They get the same colors. You have to go a little lighter here, but you want to get the same color because the light is shining on there, remember, and so you don't want it to be too dark. And you're going to try to get those edges really nice and smooth, and so on. Now, here you have a very light brown, and I'm going to paint that here where the fruit is, holding its stem. And I'm going to take a black here. A lot of artists don't like to use black, but I'm going to take a black, and I'm going to make a black area here. Okay. Now, I get a green because these stems are not completely yellow. They are greenish in color with some brown. But you want that to show up too. And it's not going to show up there. Okay. Now, I got the brown, the dark brown here, and I'm going to get that in there. and it comes down darker underneath. If you got a whole big set of colors, then you don't have to do this mixing, and it's really neat because you just pick them up and go with it, you know, just run and do your coloring. But if you don't have the big set, then you got to mix your colors and try to get as close as you can using the pencils you have. Now, of course, you could use some other colors, but that's dark area is really not very okay. Now you got your white here, and that's where it's shining. It's got to have a little bit of color in there. And this is your dark area, but it's burnished pretty dark, and it's still not dark enough. So I'm wondering now if a pencil wouldn't do here. Maybe give it darker. Yes. See, you can always use the pencil and make your lines and your... Okay. Now, you got the pencil here. So you got it much darker down here by using the dark blue, the only one I have in my box. And I'm going to bring it around here because there's always a darkness here somewhere, because the light's coming from here, and it's gotta be dark. It's going to show blue. That does show a kind of a blue color on the fruit itself in the light. And here is where it's dark. Yeah. Now, a little bit darker there. And then you got your color here. But you're seeing your indentations of your paper. So you would be better off with a smoother paper if you wanted to make it really smooth and look like, you know, like the fruit. And this brown and black, it seems to be working pretty good. So I'm going to just do that. There we go. And then get this in here. And get this here where it's hiding. Right in here. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm not going to do the others because I did one. That's going to make a very long tutorial, and I don't want to do that. So I want to now get my shadows in here. And I'm not taking the color of the background here. I'm just using the white. So I'm going to use, let's see, for the shadows, I'm going to use a lighter blue. And the shadows come in here. And I'm going to use it, put a bit of blue in here. And I'm going to make that cherry a little more round here. There. And there's a plane or a helicopter or something coming by. Always does it. But I'm not going to start over. And so now, to make it sit on something, you have to make this where the shadows fall. Now remember one thing, that when the shadow is darker here, and then as it goes out, it goes lighter and lighter, away from the subject. Now, okay, we want it a little darker, so we're going to take, oh, let's say a dark blue and see what happens. Now we get that dark in there. Okay, now that the cherry is sitting on the table. And now I'm going to get that dark in here. And that's going to spread out here and get lighter and lighter and a little bit darker out there. There we go. Now the cherry's sitting on the table. Now, a little bit of black would probably help a great deal there, since I don't have the color I really want to make it sit down properly. Now, I got a mark here, and I want to take that off. I don't want to leave that on there. Where's my little eraser? I got this soft eraser, and I'm going to take that off of there, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. Yeah, it works. Okay. Now, I have to remember, and remember something very clearly, is that wherever the dark area is, it got to be very, very dark. So, you put it, make it darker and darker and darker and darker where the thing goes in. Okay, now you can see where it's going into the fruit. Right here. It might be hard to see. And there should be something now that will give you a bit of white reflecting from off of here. So I'm going to use my watercolor pencils, which are about the same thing, but I have a white in here, a piece of piece of white, that I'm going to use to put a reflection here, if I can, of lighter, which is supposed to be reflecting from the table. Yeah, I got it there. It shows the purple that I want. And I'm going to darken it a little bit more right here with the brown in the back, because it's very dark in the back and it's not reflecting any light much. Now, and right here. Okay. Now, if you like, you can use this too to make it a little bit more lighter here, where the sun is shining on it, or the light is shining more on it. And this is burnishing. You use white to burnish to get your colors to mix properly. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay. Now, let's see, I got an edge here that needs some touch up. Okay, now I want to burnish a little bit in here. There, I got it pretty good. And for a sketch, a colored sketch, I'm satisfied, and I can work from that when I do a bigger painting. So there you go. Now, here's another thing you can do, is use the white to blend or burnish in here to give it more of a, and then you can use the black to make your lines and give it more of a realistic look. It's a bit big. There. Now you can also use the same white to get your light from here, which will give you your greens and so on. There we go. So there you go. It's a dark, but not as dark as these, but it's still a dark cherry. It's a purpley color, cherry actually, more purple than white. And I hope that you can see the lines here. I'm going to put the lines in with pencil just to show where they, and by the way, you can always put some purple in here too, or some brown to bring it darker near the cherry area, and so on. But I'm going to put a line of purple around the other cherries, and just to show you where they are. I'm making a line with blue here. Now I don't want that color. I want the purple color. Where is it? Well, I guess this is it. Here, that's where the stem goes in, and it definitely is going to leave a mark here, because some white, because of the fact that it is light. There's more light going there than anywhere else. I know I had a yellow here somewhere. put things down and then don't know where I put it. Oh, here we are. Yellow here. And this is right there. And this is right here. Now I'm going to put just a line around these cherries. Okay, it's very rough, but that's what I wanted. And so, give you an idea. Now, and then I'll just put this in here, a little darker here, and give you an idea. Maybe you can do the drawing and give it a try and finish it up and see how it works for you. Okay, now I get a little bit of green and put that in there. There. Now I've used here to make my cherries. I didn't get as dark as this, but I did get pretty close. Actually, pretty close. See? Pretty close in color. Actually. And it's rough because it's on watercolor paper. If we have the smooth paper and it will be a lot better. Now you do this, and you remember what colors I've used. I've used some blue. I've used the white for burnishing to help burnish get the color smoothly. And I've used brown, dark brown, and a dark purple. I've used black, and the dark blue. I have used black and some green for colors, and of course the important one that mix the colors, or burnish the colors on there, is the white, and you get your lighter areas and darker areas. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.